So health is the balance of our whole life. I think we could agree to that. And we're going to focus a little bit this evening on the physical aspects of it, but not only on that, but we're going to zero in on that, on the physical areas, and there are things that we need for our physical body that we must have in the right quality, we must have it in the right quantity in order to maintain physical balance and proper function in our physical well-being. However, our physical body is not separate from our mind. Are you aware of that? There is no separation between mind and body. The neurosciences today validate that. There's overwhelming evidence now that tells us that the human being cannot think a thought, nor can we have an emotion without it causing physical changes in our body. There is actually a very seamless connection between mind and body. So in being able to take care of the body and keep it in good physical shape, you cannot separate the way we think and how we process and how we handle stresses. Are we together on that? Very important. Now that's one aspect that's not really looked at a whole lot in medicine. It's usually just categorized under umbrella as stress. And stress causes this and stress, and it's just called stress. But you need to be able to break that down and look at the aspects of mind and being able to harness and get control and manage that better. And there is a process and there are principles and there's a pathway of how we could do that. But spirit, mind and body must work together. But there's also another very real part of the human makeup called spirit. If you take the spirit out of the body, it's just going to be a corpse. That is what gives life to the body, and that cannot be separated. Just like there's a seamless connection between mind and body, there is a seamless connection between spirit and mind. In fact, there's a seamless connection between body, mind, and spirit. It's actually one complete, undivided, whole being. That's who we are. Just one whole being. And so, understanding wholeness, which is another seminar all by itself, let us just understand for now that if there is disorder or disruption in any one area, it will always affect the whole thing. That's the principle of wholeness. You cannot disrupt one area without it affecting all. Are we together so far? The thing is that our mental and spiritual aspect of our lives is non-physical. You can't put it under a CT scan machine or an ultrasound machine to see what's going on there. But what is going on in that part of our lives expresses itself one place, and that is in the human body. So everything that goes on in mind and body expresses itself here. So we need to start looking at health. Health is our physical, mental, and spiritual well-being, all functioning in harmonious balance as one indivisible whole. And the key to it, which is also the challenge that man has, is how to do that in a social framework. There's also a process, a pathway, and a pattern of how that is done. That's also for another time. But just for us to understand, as we consider hypertension this evening, that is always done in the context of understanding this is health. Are we together? This is health, not just your body and how it feels and how it functions, which is the normal mindset that we generally tend to have. In the social framework, let me just say this very quickly. When it comes to the social framework of life, the top of the list is relationships, because we don't live on this planet by ourselves. We don't live in Trinidad by ourselves. We have to interact with people every single day. Family, work, associates, there's always, and that's the challenge of how to live among people who think differently, believe differently, have differences of opinion, to disagree and still be at peace with each other. Relationships is the key. I'm going to just say this, that it may not quite hit home because that's not the direction we're going in this evening, but the key to health, true health, which is the wholeness of being, the key to that is healthy relationships. It is unhealthy relationships and disharmonious relationships that keeps mental, physical, and spiritual balance disrupted. And the neurosciences today, and I will encourage you to go on the internet, there's a medical science called PNI, psychoneuroimmunology, how mind and body interconnects. And that they're bringing more and more information to the research papers and books and that's being published today now that is telling us how that it is no longer stress but the nature of the stress. Depending on what kind of stress it is, it depends on where it's going to affect us in our body. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that, but it all boils down to at the very top of the list, how we handle relationships. So the key to our balance in life, physically, mentally, and spiritually, really will boil down to the relationships we have. Which is why I like this statement that is made by Hippocrates, the father of modern medicine. He said it is more important to know what sort of person has a disease than to know what kind of disease a person has. At the Whole Living Life Center, that's how we tend to look at it. We have been shifting our gears recently and moving more into a mode of looking at wholeness. And so when someone comes to the center, they sit before us and they give me a whole long list of symptoms, I don't see a body that's messed up, I see a life that's messed up. Now people find it difficult sometimes to receive it that way. But we like one of the assessments we have actually begins to bring out some of the factors of our lifestyles, our emotions, our stress, the stress issues and how it's affecting the physical body. Hypertension is not separate from what we're talking about because it has components in the way we think, the way we respond to life, the way we respond to people. So, as we think about our health, let us think that it's not just how my body feels, and it's not just whether my body is messed up, but let's think about our whole life in the equation. Everything about our life in the equation. Are you still with me?